Oh! Well, today we're going to be doing this carburetor and taking this apart. This is from the second machine that we bought. I don't know if it's new or what the condition is, so we're going to take it apart and check it out. And if it is dirty, obviously we're going to get it nice and clean. And as y'all can see, this time I'm wearing gloves, as I told you before. Keep all these harsh chemicals off your hands. Whoops. Okay, so as you can see down in there, look at that gunk down in that corner. That's something you don't want to see, obviously. First thing we're going to check is, look how come from the side, come up. You see how high these are sitting? This line should be level with this here. So these need to be highly adjusted. You see that gap between the spring right here and this should be sitting about right there. So this is way out of adjustment, so we'll be fixing that for sure. All right, let's see. What did I do with my little blue? Okay, so I'm going to take that out, that pin, and this float comes out, and then your little piston. There's all those. Your main jet. Set this down, take a look. Oh yeah, see that chunk of dirt inside there? Can you get that? Do you see it right here? Hold on, let me see if I can. It's hard to see, but there's a white piece of sand, and this O-ring is just junk. So we'll definitely be changing that. This is an 8 mil here. Oh, nope, excuse me. I lied. That is something else. I think it's 6. Yeah. So excuse me, it was a 6 mil. And as I stated before in other videos, I like to soak these. This has a little bit of grit down in there. You're probably not going to be able to see it, but That has some grit down in it. Tweezers. Oh, I was gonna say this usually likes to come out. Okay. Now I've got to find. There it is. Alright, so down in here, you're gonna need a small little screwdriver to get down in here, and you'll feel there's a flathead screw of a jet that you got to unscrew out of there. And this is what's down in there. Let me see if I can read what size it is. It's a 32.5. Which I know is the same one that was in the other one as well. And your main is a 2.8. This is a 2.8, the big one, the first one we took out. Okay, and trying to see, the other one had an extra jet. This one looks like it's missing, but I can't really tell. Yeah, it's not in there. Okay, now I'll go ahead and take the idle adjust off. Now these are spring loaded, so keep that in mind. Well, where did I put the tweezers? There they are. The spring's down in here. It's just being a pain in the butt. There it is. And that spring is not the correct spring that goes in there, I don't believe. Next, this is supposed to have a plug on it, and this is way too big for that, as you can see. So, not the best, but could be worse. Now we're going to take off this, and I forgot my wrench. I'm not sure. I think it was a 12. Yep, 12 millimeter for your choke. And this is spring loaded as well. Oh yeah, that's yucky. Look at that tip. O-ring doesn't look too bad, but you can see gunk down in there on that. I know you're not going to probably be able to see it, but down in there where this piece actually plunges in is very gunky. Yeah. Take this seal off carefully if you can. And set that aside while you clean it. And as before, I'm using this B12. It's supposed to be some of the best stuff. It's 50 state compliant, so even you Californians can use it. Yeah, I got that chunk of gunk that was down in that corner out. And this thing a whole wipe down, scrubbing. And now that big chunk of gunk that was down in that corner is gone. It was right down in there. Now that's nice and clean. I like to spray these down a little bit. Make sure that whatever residues on it is cleaned off. If we're in here, might as well do it. And you can see. Oh yeah, I got a lot of gunk out of that choke area. It kind of shows you how it would work too. If you spray in here, you can see the fuel shooting out of there. Well, carb, but you get the idea. That's where the fuel would come shooting out of. Go ahead and give this thing a good old scrubbing. Now these are airbrush paint cleaners for the airbrush guns. You can get them at Harbor Freight for like $2, and I find them very useful to get down in here and clean all these little holes and ports and jets and everything that has to do with this car. These little brushes are very useful. I can even get down in here in this choke spot where this piece goes. I'm using this tiny little one here, and it's cleaning down inside that little hole down there, which most people just rely on the spray to clean it out, when you can do this and actually get some work on it. And the same thing with all these orifices, tubes, any of this stuff. There's 5 brushes on here of different sizes that can help you clean thoroughly. Not fond of that, but it is what it is. I did go grab some of this, and I'm wondering if take a little bit of choke cleaner. Oh yeah, see, I was getting that black right on off of there, that soot. I'm just gently applying pressure, using a little bit of that choke cleaner. On the tip of my finger to find the areas where it needs to be clean. And just gently press, gentle strokes back and forth. It's kind of like a little sanding, more like a what's that?
Steel wool?
Yeah, steel wool, similar to that. And you can buy them in different grits. I think this might be 80 or something. I'm not exactly sure on that. I just had an extra piece in my toolbox. I said, oh, that'd be great to clean that soot off of that carburetor with. And see, there is a little bit of red stuff from this, so definitely make sure after you do this you give it a, but look at before and after. That was all black and nasty now, but then just a few seconds, boom, clean. Okay. Push. I did forget that. I forgot to clean the tube on this float, or where this float sits. Okay, that's pretty much all there is to cleaning this part. And of course I'm gonna spray it out one good time from every angle. Now, let's set that aside. Set that aside. Put your little piston in there. Any of these little parts you want to clean. Whoops. And we're going to make sure we change all the O-rings on this stuff as well. Even this thing, you could take this and clean it right on up. Looks a lot better. Don't take much. And we'll just let that soak for a little while, and then we'll be back to reassemble everything and put it back together. Now that we've allowed this to soak, we can come back and start changing these O-rings on stuff and getting all this stuff cleaned up and put back together. Might as well clean these bolt heads and get all the gunk out of it while you're in here doing this anyway. Especially if you're doing a restoration project. And if you can reuse any of these parts, why not? Save yourself some money. Now we will change this O-ring in just a second once we get everything cleaned up. These you're going to want to make sure you spray. Even after they soak, you want to spray through them, make sure nothing that was soaking got seated down in there and nasty. Especially these small ones. Give me that air hose right there with the sprayer. Another good way to verify these jets are cleared out is to take your air and hold it very tightly. And make sure that everything is blown out. Then you can hold it up to the light and make sure that everything's cleared out. That's good. We'll do the same with this piece here. And you always want to blow from the smallest side to the largest side. Okay, that's good. Now, we're also going to change this O-ring here, because you can see this throttle body cleaner makes them very gummy and loose, which I'm sure when they dry they'd be fine, but might as well go ahead and replace them while we're in there, like I've stated before. And wipe this down. Okay. Now, here's all your stuff. Right, so I've got a universal O-ring kit. This is metric. It's got 419 pieces all the way from an R01 to an R32. So you can go through those and see what size you need. And also I have a metric set, or excuse me, a standard set. So that way, and yes, they are different. Some are smaller than others and some are larger than others. So you may need both depending on your setup. I like to have both just to be on the safe side. Never know which one you're going to need. Alright, so first thing you're going to want to do is flip this over. And we'll start reassembling all the jets and stuff. So the first thing is we need an O-ring for this. Let's see what I'm going to use. Let's see, that looks a little twisted. Now, try the next size down and see if it likes that better. And you want this to seal well, so, and then this just, and sometimes you may have to just wet this a little bit, some spit, whatever, WD-40, just a little bit, just to pop it down in there and see. It's super tight. Isn't that Houdini over there? Oh. It's above your face. Instead of spraying it on the actual piece, spray on something else and rub it on there. Oh, that may be too big. May need to try a standard size. The standard and metric, yeah, this one's too big. Some of the standard and metric are thicker and thinner than others. You just gotta find which one works right for you. I think this is the one I used last time. Yeah. And you're gonna take this guy here, set it there. Your short screw that you took out. That holds that in. Then you're going to take this washer that likes to fall out on you all the time, put that in. And then take that 6 mil that you had earlier, tighten that down. Then you're going to take your little jet and your small screwdriver. Nice and snug. Sorry, we were having technical difficulties with these stupid ass cameras. Okay. So, where we were was we had finished putting these jets in, and now we were going to change this O-ring here. So, right here, I have a R1, and then that's out of your standard, and you can kind of see the slight difference, but the slight difference makes a difference. So, I'm going to go with the smaller one, the R1. See, I don't even really like that, to be honest, how loose it is, but let's see what the original's like. That one's actually pretty good, thank goodness. Now, I read something about you're supposed to take this all the way down and then back it off 1.5 turns. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I'm going to do. So you're about centered 1 full turn and then 1/2. Okay, now I'll take this. Oh, I made a boo-boo. We forgot the spring. Can't forget that spring. Now, 1 full turn and then 1/2 turn. Now, back over to this. Okay, so now you're going to want to put your float back in with that plunger. Set that down like that. Take your pin. And just push it back through. Now, like I stated before, you don't want this sitting like that. You'd rather it needs to be flush, kind of like that, but this needs to be more leveled out, and I don't really see how this thing even ran with it like this. But weirdly, to make it go down, you bend this tab right here. Can you get a close-up of that? This tab right here. Back up a little bit. That tab right there, you want to bend it up. Oh, so slightly at a time, not a lot. And come to both sides and make sure it's as even as can be. And already you can see it's brought it down a little bit, but not near enough. This one's fighting. It's starting to slowly come down, but I don't know why this one's fighting so much. Usually they bend right up. It's still not perfect. There we go, now we got some bend to it. Now look at it. A lot better than it was. It isn't perfect, but it's better. And if it doesn't work well, then you can always come back in, press it back down. Okay, now you want to take your seal and make sure that you put it back on the way it came off, meaning which side's facing which. Now your sides, the ones that have these, I want to go on the side that has this petcock coming out. I think that's the correct term. If not, clown me in the comments. Whoa. You'll make sure that those line holders are facing outward, and you want to make sure that those lips are facing down and not up, or it will cut your fuel line or the breather lines or whatever line is running through it. It will cut it. Now, one of the last things we got to put back in is your choke, which we have right here, and we need to find which O-ring goes on that. That looks way too big. Let's go over here. Check this R2 out. And what you're trying to do is match up the inside diameter of this to whatever it's seating against, which in this case is inside this groove. So yes, it's going to take some pushing to get over the edge. It shouldn't be loose. See, that feels pretty good. You want to make sure that it's actually coming out past the edge so it actually seals, but not too far to where it won't seal, because there is that such thing. And see, that's a little, may need to find a slightly smaller one. Maybe. It is dry, so that can affect the movement. This one don't look thick enough, to be honest. There ain't no way. I think that's the one I used last time, but we're gonna see. Just to see, because I don't think it's gonna, yeah, see, that ain't, so this is a good viewing to show you that this is not gonna work, because there you go, you can see right there, it's under flush, it's not even flush, you can't even feel it, so that's not gonna seal anything. So that definitely, you need to pay attention to that, because that's not gonna work. We'll go back to the one we originally had. No, you don't want to have to force it that bad. Yeah. Alright, I made one work last time, I just gotta find which one it was. Is that the same one? Just stretched. Doubt it. Yeah, see, you don't want to have to sit here and push like that. That's not what you want. So those are the same. Have to get some more, I guess. Don't forget, this is a 12 mil. Nice and slow. Alright, and that is how you take apart and clean a Blaster carburetor, put it back together. And I will tell you that was exactly by the service manual book how I just did that. If you have any questions, you can hit the comments and I'll get back to you ASAP. If you have any questions about other things, you can ask in the comments. I'll try to help the best I can. I don't know everything, but I do have service manuals, so I will help you to the best of my ability. But I know there's a lot of questions around the carburetors and how you properly take them apart and clean them, so I decided to do an in-depth video. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.